customers and basically decentralized, and it has the power to onboard multiple financial institutions to not just to have an online presence, but to have to thrive in the digital economy. So we were invited on the 15th anniversary of China ASEAN in Nanning, China, from September 11 to September 13. 150 companies from the Philippines. I mean, those are the big companies, okay? 150. And only 2 will take the center stage, and PearlPay is actually one of them, discussing the blockchain opportunity for the Philippine market. So,
okay, so yeah.
So I'm going to give a slightly contrarian view. Obviously, we're all up here, so we very much agree that, or we very much believe in the potential of blockchain, and we do think that this is a very revolutionary technology. But one, I guess, word of caution, and one thing that is definitely building into this hype element, is that you can't just slap blockchain on any business model or any product or any service and it makes it better, right? A lot of times you already have very efficient systems where blockchain will actually slow you down. So my recommendation, if you guys are concerned on whether or not this is hype or if it warrants kind of the excitement, is to read a little bit more on blockchain. I think ultimately it's going to be your decision, right? Like any decision you make on whether or not you want to learn more about it, whether or not this is an industry you want to get into, it's going to have to come from you guys, right? So I highly recommend you do some reading on your own, but I do see where this kind of hype mentality is coming from, because blockchain doesn't fix everything, and right now the media kind of portrays that it will. Although, again, I'll reiterate, everyone on this panel probably believes that it can solve a lot of things. There are a lot of applications, but do some research.
I was going to say, I read something this morning about blockchain effort to solve fake news. So anytime you need transparency, or anytime there's fraud or lack of trust, then you can use blockchain to build stuff on top of that. But in the Philippines specifically, there's a lot of lack of trust. No one trusts anyone here. So we can build we can build a whole pile of stuff on the blockchain. But you're right. Don't apply blockchain to everything, but there are a lot of things that you can apply to.
Yeah, I think in line with really reading up on the asset is, okay, for example, when ATR wants to invest in a new crypto asset, for example, we have to do proper due diligence processes in the form of a report, for example, to really understand whether whatever we want to invest in solves a valuable problem, but in a uniquely blockchain-centric way, right? You need to understand that, like Chris mentioned, that there are many efficient non-blockchain models which already solve problems, and there is no point in replacing it unless blockchain can be doing it in a better way.
My personal view on this is blockchain technology will not go away. It's not like tomorrow there's no blockchain anymore. There are indeed problems with respect to this technology because of how immature it is still at this point. But we are moving very fast in the maturity of this technology, in developing this technology. And the problems that we see at this point will eventually be solved. And maybe blockchain technology will just evolve into something else. But it has been unleashed already. This technology has been unleashed already. And it's up to us now to develop whatever use cases we can build on top of this technology. And I want to quickly comment on hype. Assuming that there is a hype, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. This hype that we are experiencing, or that is being perceived that we are experiencing at this point, is actually the thing that actually fuels interest. This is why we have more developers now who are studying this. This is why we now have more entrepreneurs who are now studying this. This is now we have government authorities, regulators who are now seriously studying this, understanding this. And unlike before, where when we talk about crypto or blockchain, they will just dismiss you. Now today, especially in the Philippines, when you talk to regulators like the officials from BSP or from the SEC, these guys will listen to you because of the interest. And I think, yeah, that's because they always also hear something about blockchain. So I just want to say that I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, even if there is indeed a blockchain hype.
Right at the beginning of like the TCP/IP for the internet, that wasn't accepted by most government departments. It got pushed in, took a a few years to do it. That's where we're with blockchain stuff. They don't really understand it. They're learning and feeling their way, but eventually blockchain will find its way into all aspects of government. In the same way the internet did.
So at this point, can we ask our audience if you have any comments or questions? Is there anything that you would like to ask?
You're very shy. Ask a question, come on.
Or
Doesn't
comments
matter,
or
there are no
feedback?
stupid questions for blockchain.
Yeah. So at this point, if you have any questions, feel free to approach the mic. But I just have one more thing that I want to ask. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of good things, positive things. But there are also problems, right? Problems that need to be solved and might also present opportunities. Could we, comment or reflect on some of the problems that we are experiencing on this nascent space, considering the immaturity of the technology?
It's good. From the government point of view, it's education. Just people learning and understanding it, and then understanding how it can be applied. So the biggest problem is, if you ask you guys before you came here, you don't know anything about blockchain. Now you do. So we need more and more of this, not just in the cities, but out in the provinces, perhaps. I don't know how. Yeah, a lot of times I think the blockchain doesn't need to be understood by the general population, but the people like you
You
guys
just
are
have to
going to build
appreciate the
stuff.
benefit, perhaps.
Well, no, they just have to know, it's like the internet, they use it for browsing and doing
Yeah.
whatever they want, but they don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
But the coders like you have to understand it so you can build stuff
Yeah.
to make it simple for people to use to solve problems. So the biggest problem here is, I think it's educating, like coders like you guys. So we need to do more of
If
that.
we're inspiring them not just to be users of blockchain, but also to actually build stuff on top of the blockchain, they really have to learn this.
The blockchain is just another technology like MySQL or Mongo. It's just another database.
Okay.
What you can build on it, that's what's going to be cool. But most people don't understand, unless you're coders, they don't understand the technology. You don't need to. But these people here, they have to understand.
They have to. All right.
I mean, in line with the education, it's a challenge, right, to understand it. And the analogy we use at AGR is blockchain in the crypto space, understanding it is like a level 400 class in college. And you kind of have these building blocks of level 101 classes, which you have to have a basic understanding of, things like mathematics, economics, cryptography, etc., etc. So if you guys do want to get involved in the space, I kind of urge you to understand what goes into blockchain and crypto as a whole, so that you understand really the mechanics and the almost intricacies of crypto and blockchain.
Any other problems? I hear a lot about scalability. What's that?
I mean, one of the things we look at AGR is this idea of scalability, right? And it's this,
And then usability.
the issue is really that the fact that the blockchain network, for example, has a lot of bottlenecks. And the reason for that is the main chain has a lot of transaction load on it. So there are solutions, things like layer 2 solutions, we call them. An example would be Raiden or Enigma. And there are programs which basically alleviate this main chain pressure by processing some of the transactions off chain, which basically means that the main chain we think can be used as a settlement layer, and this makes the whole crypto process and blockchain process a lot more immutable and secure.
You want to talk about scaling?
See, when Bitcoin first came out, it still allows 3 to 4, 7 transactions a second, which is tiny. If you look at Visa, MasterCard, they process 2,000 to 50,000 transactions a second. So, but since Bitcoin, there's been lots of different flavors of blockchain implementation. So, like for my own one, the permission one is 1,000 transactions a second. That can cover a lot. Still not everything, but it's increasing. So we're just starting out. Those problems of scalability, reliability, and so on, they will be solved.
Another problem that they typically highlight is this problem of usability. You want to use these blockchain applications, but even an application such as CryptoKitties, which is very cute, so difficult to use, right, and expensive. This is one of the problems that we invite the audience. It's one problem that you can definitely take a look at and improve the usability, the user experience.
So I was mentioning about RPC JSON, which is just the programmers, you should know about it. It's just an easy way to build something from your front end, your mobile interface or AngularJS or whatever, linking to the back end. It's really simple to use. It just sends commands to say do this, do that. But you're, as programmers, kind of tough, but you also got to keep in mind the UI and what it looks like. Make it simple for people to use. Yeah, that's tough.
Are there any other problems that you see?
I think one problem which is really caused by, I think, excessive media coverage on frauds and scams is this idea that cryptocurrencies are almost viewed as a black market currency, so to speak, right now. And I think the issue with this is, look, you have to understand it's a frontier market, and of course, there are potential for frauds and scams in this, the inefficient phase it is at the moment. But at the end of the day, crypto, at least in our opinion at AGR, it has a tremendous asymmetric upside, right? So to really stay out of the space, we think you should be, I think 98% or more, we call it conviction or confidence that it's not going to be worth it, so to speak. So I think one issue is that just this idea of like coverage on frauds and scams and how we want to debunk that, basically.
Yeah, well, actually, I personally admire our SEC, Security of Exchange and Commission, because about 3 weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago, they released a proposed guidelines on initial coin offering. So what they bring to the table is basically putting the trust and confidence, which is what the cryptocurrency lacks as of today. There's no trust and confidence coming from the general investing public. So I admire, because we are, I suppose, the Philippines, we are ahead from the other countries such as the United States and with the other ASEAN countries.
I think we have a question from Michael Hampton.
I just wanted to break the ice on this side, so I'll ask you maybe a simple question. Does anybody see any new and creative ways of going from crypto wallets to either cash, load, or to grab? Anything's coming in that?
That will depend on them wanting to integrate, and they're not integrated just yet. They're working on stuff, I'm sure, but I like open transfer of assets, of money, etc. Blockchain should allow that, but we also run centralized versions of everything. So Gcash runs centralized version of the wallet as we do, and they don't make it easy to move money to other wallets because it's like my money, I want to keep it, and the banks are the same. So they don't want to allow that to happen, and that's going to take a while to actually persuade them if possible. Otherwise, it will be like me with Bill Pay, moving money back and forth. It will be the new generation of fintech suppliers that will make that happen. And Gcash might, if they don't join, people will use the services that are better.
Isn't that one of the problems that we also face right now on blockchain, in the blockchain space? Like, many projects have their own blockchain and they don't want to interoperate with each other.
Well,
there's definitely some solutions who are focusing on interoperability, but we see these islands of blockchains as well. For the information of our audience, there's not one. There's no like one blockchain. There's a lot of blockchain aside from the Bitcoin blockchain or the Ethereum blockchain. There's really a lot of blockchains, and one of the problems that we currently face is how these different blockchains would interoperate, right?
There are some solutions coming out.
Yeah.
So you got MEM is a blockchain.
Yeah.
We're running another flavor, multi-chain, and we use Stellar as well. Now, how do you move the assets between them? Decentralized. So it's a problem right now.
Yep.
But hey, you guys, the programmers, come up with a solution.
Yes, that's really what we try to emphasize here. There are problems. There's really a lot of things that we need to fix at this point, and that actually presents opportunity for you guys to work on.
And Philippines has a chance to be like, we're a voice center for working for America, Europe, and so on. So now we have a chance of becoming a real center for development, offshore development.
All right. So, any other question? If there are no questions, can we have the final takeaways of our panelists, starting with Richard?
So I would encourage anyone who's really interested in blockchain, again, to really immerse yourself in the space. Simply, like, if you guys are on YouTube or Twitter, follow people that are influential, talk about the technology rather than financial advice. YouTube specifically, honestly, as a beginner, it helped me a lot to learn about cryptocurrencies, blockchain, just by listening to a couple of YouTube influencers out there, especially if you're stuck in traffic
it could help rather than listening to music to actually consume content that's relevant to you. And then from there, if you really are interested in learning about it, again, I'd encourage you guys to get immersed in the communities here in Manila. There are a lot of communities out there. So don't be shy. If you guys want to come up to us later and learn more about how you could immerse yourself into these communities, we're just here. We don't bite.
Adil.
Yeah, I mean, so two takeaways, right? So I think one, I forgot who said it, but there's an analogy with the poker table, and it's about how if you invest or if you want to get involved with the traditional asset class at the moment, with the normal stocks and things, it's almost like you're playing against professional players at a poker table. Whereas the crypto space is at this rare inflection point where you're playing with amateurs, right? And you can really make an impact in the space. And that's really a testament to how much power you guys have and how you guys should be getting involved if you really are interested at this time. The other thing is really this idea that we want to, if you are looking to invest, we want to break this misconception that it's a binary concept on to invest or not to invest. So we think it's more a matter of sizing. So for anyone, having crypto in your portfolio, so to speak, really diversifies it as a whole. And as a result, we think that, say you start off with $1 or $2 and go from there. At the end of the day, it's a matter of sizing, and you might find yourself enjoying crypto after all.
All right, so well, blockchain, I have 3 words. Don't miss this chance. No, ano to? This is the next big thing, and as of today, a lot of companies are now adapting to the blockchain technology, and basically just to add lang about the problem of interoperability. We are very fortunate because the BSP, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, they are setting up a which is called the NRBS, National Retail Payment System Framework, which will resolve eventually the interoperability problem. So a lot of blockchain technology nowadays supports cross-chain protocol, which will allow Bitcoin, Ethereum, NEM, Komodo platform to make it really interoperable. I mean, that's the key. That's the key. We need to collaborate to make this blockchain technology as a mainstream.
So I think my takeaway is probably, definitely along the same exact lines as theirs. The real point is, for me, don't be intimidated, right? There's a lot of people that know way less than you, and you having just sat in on this all-day session or having read a couple articles. Just to give you an example, we presented to the executive committees at banks here in the Philippines, and they for sure don't know the first thing about crypto or not crypto, but how blockchain really works. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking maybe it's too late, or maybe I'm too young, maybe I missed the boat, or this is too hard, I really encourage you to rethink that. And if you're interested, to definitely take the opportunity to read up on the subject, because I think you'll be very pleasantly or unpleasantly, you'll be very surprised to know that you can ramp up relatively quickly on learning blockchain and cryptocurrencies, while it's the older folks that are maybe more established that work at bigger banks or bigger institutions, and those are the ones that are probably going to be less willing, less nimble to really understand the technology. So it's definitely not too late. Please don't be intimidating. I know it's a new topic. I know it's very technical, but I encourage you guys, if you're interested, to take a shot.
When you guys graduate, oh, they're all over there, I think. When you graduate, you need to get a job. If you have some experience, or it doesn't need much these days, but if you get some experience, we are the kind of guys that we're looking to hire you guys. So you should learn, get into it, because we're going to offer higher salaries for a start. And there's a severe lack in, as Lena was saying, there's a severe lack in talent out there. So you don't need to know an awful lot. You can actually carry on after. But there won't be any courses here. You're going to have to learn all this on your own. YouTube, etc. We have I just plug my own site, vtc.com, where it's all free. It's 100,000 video tutorials and quite a few on Ethereum and blockchain. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Start learning so that you're ready for me to hire you when you graduate.
For me, I would like to say that if you've heard the name Vitalik Buterin, who knows Vitalik Buterin? Vitalik Buterin is the guy who who basically invented the Ethereum blockchain platform. When he wrote the Ethereum white paper in early 2014, he was only 19 years old. Right? He was only 19 years old. When in 2016, the Ethereum community had this dilemma on whether they will fork the Ethereum blockchain. They were thinking whether to soft fork it or hard fork it. For those who are into developers here or programming here, I think you understand what the difference, right, of soft forking and hard forking. The idea that the Ethereum blockchain should be hard forked was actually proposed by two high school students, all right, high school students in the US, all right. The organizer of this meetup, of this conference, Alena, is actually, I think you're 20 years old, right? These three examples that I'm giving indicates to you that even young individuals could contribute significantly in this space. Your youth is not actually a problem, your youth is not a limitation, it's more of an advantage actually, and it should not discourage you from studying this, from being interested, and actually develop or build something using this technology. Right? So with that, thank you very much. Have a good